last year. And we're super excited to be here at our 7th family reunion, and I'm so excited and hope I can share something so you can take it home and blow up your business.
Awesome.
Hi everyone, I'm Veronica Sniskak, and I'm with the Bob Lucido team in Ellicott City, Maryland. And I am, last year was my 19th year in real estate, and I joined the team about 3 years ago. And last year finished #1 for the team in transactions and volume.
Hoorah!
So excited. Our value prop is very unique in our area, so I'm excited to talk about it, and along with some of the things I'm doing myself. So welcome.
Awesome, thank you.
I'm Stephen Cohen from Boston, Massachusetts, and I head up a team of 9 people. We conducted 110 transactions last year for $160 million in volume. And I'm passionate about this topic because whether we intend it or not, we are perceived in the marketplace in a certain way, or possibly not at all. And our value proposition, in turn, once we articulate one, it's supported or not by everything we do. So it's really good to define both and to have one support the other.
Awesome, thank you. Are these guys worth listening to? All right, awesome. So we'll start with you, Steve. With your value prop, what is your value proposition? And how did you know, when it was time? And how did you get it right? Talk to us about that. We'll have Ollie answer this question.
Yes, the answer to that question flowed from the question, which Gary actually, in Mastermind with a number of us, encouraged us to ask ourselves, which in turn had to do with the one thing. What is the one thing I could do such that by doing so, everything else would either be easier or unnecessary? And that question can be asked with respect to any particular facet of your business or personal life. So we asked the question in terms of what's the one thing we could do to define who we are and to support it with our marketing activities. And that required us to take a look at our market and to ask ourselves, where do we want to position? Who do we want to be? And what we determined is that we wanted for our market, which is a pretty high-end market with sophisticated sellers and buyers, that we decided to position ourselves as the economists of choice for our market.
So what would you say, Steve, and again, I'll ask everybody the same question. What would you say to the people here? You saw when I asked who has a value prop, maybe 10% of the hands went up. What would you say to them about creating their value prop?
I would say to think about, we want to think about our skill sets and what we have to offer, and we want to align those with a need or a niche within our marketplace. And there's a reason we're succeeding in our businesses, or there's a way that we'll be able to, and it flows from that. So it causes us to think about the market and ask ourselves, what's that consumer like? And really, you don't want to put any limitations on the answer, and you don't want to ask the question alone either. If you don't have a team, then find non-paid resources who know your market, who know you, and brainstorm it. And you'll come up, there are some very interesting answers to the question that you could arrive at.
Awesome, thank you. And Veronica, same question, what's the value prop for the team, and how does it show up in everything you guys do?
So our big value prop really is the massive amount of marketing that we do. We're in the Baltimore Sun on a weekly basis, in a lot of print advertisements in our local areas, and we do very nice brochures and just listed cards and a lot of things that other agents are saying don't need to be done. We're spending the money to do it. So as a single agent joining the team, I can provide top-notch marketing and services to my clients far more than I could as an individual agent. So my value prop is that you can have my nearly 20 years of experience in the area along with the best marketing in the business, and why wouldn't you hire us? So it was a decision for me to join the team to partner with the best so that I could offer the best to my clients. And what I've done personally now is starting to do some self-branding and grow my business that way in conjunction with everything we do. So it's very exciting.
And what would be your advice, Veronica, to, again, all the people in here that may not have created theirs yet?
Just know what sets you apart. What David said, you think everybody somebody comes in here and thinks they're going to get the exact same thing from all of us, and it's just not true. So know your value, know why you're valuable, and make sure you can communicate that to your clients.
Awesome, thank you. Lori, same question, value prop. How'd you know you had it right?
Not sure if we do yet. So really interesting when you asked how many knew your value proposition. Really interesting, not too many of you. I just want to share with you guys from a little different perspective. I've been with Keller Williams for 7 years, and it was just a short 5-6 years ago that we realized that we had to be completely committed to a value proposition. So we decided to become part of the community. Marketing from a perspective, yes, we do all kinds of fancy things, billboards, bus benches, all that kind of stuff, radio, TV. We decided through open house that we would let the community know that every single weekend without fail, you would see our branding and marketing on the streets. Hundreds of open house signs. We decided to become part of the community that was much more affordable. We believe in leading with revenue. Many of you are starting out, you're not going to be able to jump in and spend the kind of money that a successful team like any of ours is spending. So what I encourage you to do is to pick what works for you within your budget and do it day in and day out. Whether that is door knocking, cold calling, open housing, showing up at every single community event with your t-shirts on that have your branding on them. There's many different ways to skin the cat.
Yeah, I agree. We have to all figure out what it is that we do that makes us different, unique, and why would someone want to work with us? And Gary's answer to that question was because I provide the best information so that my clients can use it to make a decision. Right now, buyers and sellers believe they can get their information online, right? A lot of them feel they don't need us anymore. So this is such an important topic, why we really need to be crystal clear. So Lori, that said, in your value prop, like what's the one thing that you really want your clients to know about you? Like when it comes to your team, how do you simplify it? Like the essence of your value prop.
We do what we say we're going to do. We tell you from day one, and this is something everyone in this room can start right here, right now. First conversation. If at any point in time during our relationship you cannot give me a 5-star wow experience, please tell me so I can correct it, because I want to make you a forever client. We do what we say we're going to do, we're super consistent, and we're committed to the process.
Awesome. Veronica, same question with regards to the team. What's the one thing with the Lucido team? Like, what's you guys' value prop?
Again, it's the massive amount of marketing. In our area, there are not, we have one local competitor that we do go head to head with, but other than that, we're doing something that nobody else is doing. So, and I tell my clients, I said, you can get everything that I can offer you for arguably less than what you would pay someone who can't do half as much as what I can do. And just following through, being available, setting expectations and making sure that they know they're getting the ultimate real estate experience.
Awesome. So a lot of exposure as well on your team, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Steve, same question with regards to your value prop. Like, what's the essence, man? What's the one thing? I mean, you said one thing earlier.
Well, we determined that the metrics of the marketplace are important to our consumers. And so when we say economists of choice, we understand that our value proposition as agents is no longer that we have MLS. That's long since. And quite frankly, even the metrics of the marketplace, knowing valuation, really, that also is something that consumers are deriving from other places also. However, to be the one who can synthesize it, who can understand it, and can convey that message, the high-end consumer is very mired in this world. It preoccupies them. It's the secret to Zillow's success, in my opinion. People want to be able to go somewhere and ask the question, what is my most important asset worth? And so we position ourselves through our marketing as the economists of choice in our marketplace. I will give a caveat to that though. We understand that that's a very left brain experience. knowing valuation and getting into questions of statistics and snapshots of markets, that's going to make them think. We do understand that it's emotion that makes them act. So you need to address both sides of the brain, and in fact, in our marketing, we do that as well. And I think good agents do that. I mean, hearing you guys speak, it's like I want to list with you. I actually want to sort of have that level of. In fact, I love that script. If there's anything that I do that is not a 5-star. Anyway, so that's essentially it. It's just more discussion of that niche that we've chosen to occupy. We did consider other niches. That's the one that we came up with.
When I looked at your marketing, I recognized that you really position yourself as the expert. Like you're the local expert. How important is that?
Well, it's very important because there are going to be a number of agents that a seller will possibly consider, and one agent that the seller will choose. So
how does your value prop, how does that determine what you do as far as marketing? Or where does it show up in your marketing, like the decision making?
In terms of how to, well, we ask ourselves questions about our marketing. We've made the determination that what we do needs to be of extremely high quality. Number one. Number two, it needs to support our position within the marketplace. Number three, it needs to add value to the consumer. And number four, it needs, by way of some metric, it must be measured as something that prompts people to contact us and do business. So we apply that litmus to what we do. But this is like a snapshot. You know what it's like? It's like saying, oh, well, I use DISC. Well, I use AVA. Oh, well, I like Myers-Briggs. Oh, well, have you tried strength finders? None of them are invalid. I mean, we have a whole lot of things that go on in our business that don't necessarily relate to this one question all the time. We are thinking about, gosh, let's go get our reviews. Boy, do we need reviews. And I happen to think reviews are one of the most important things. So we're all about that, right? But right now we're distilling it to a fundamental question. What is our identity? What is it that we're communicating if there could be one thing that most supports your fundamental position? And as distinguished from the multitude of things we do. Your database is your business. Oh my gosh, that's so true. I mean, so now we're all into that. I mean, so there's a whole lot of things we need to do on a regular basis. But as far as the value proposition, it is that we've come up with the phrase economists of choice for the marketplace, and we do support it with our marketing.
So obviously, and this question for you, Lori, so you're absolutely clear on what your value proposition is. So how does that play into your decisions on what you do for marketing?
So really interesting for Stephen, they're the economist of choice. So we want to be seen as the real estate team that gives the wow experience of choice. So for us, that starts with the language, actually before marketing, the language that your team is speaking completely, how you will serve the client. We have specialists. Instead of everybody on the team doing everything, each person has their lane that they live in. Gary Keller challenged us about 5 years ago, and he said, what are you doing for your value proposition that others won't? Pardon me. Not necessarily that others can't, but they won't. And the difference is that when you commit to giving that client experience and becoming connected to the community, regardless of all the beautiful, pretty, sparkly marketing you have, it all falls back on the experience that you give to the consumer. So we believe that every consumer we have a conversation with will lead to 5 opportunities. That's the language of our value proposition on our team.
Awesome. And Veronica, you're part of a team, a large team. So how does it, being on the team, how do you guys all communicate so that everybody on the team is on the same exact page and everybody's really clear on what the value prop is for the team? I've seen that as a disconnect with a lot of teams.
I mean, I'm not even quite sure how to answer it. But I guess Bob and Tracy in the marketing department on our team were very clear about wanting to be the best of the best, and the marketing is the best, and everything that we do is going to give the client that, best of, ultimate experience. They stay connected into the community by donating. We had an awful flood in Ellicott City a few years ago, and we collected money to donate. And they're just really connected in the community, and they make it clear with the team that this is what we're going to do. We're going to come from a place of giving. How can we give back to our community and give back to our clients? All the agents on our team have access to, again, top of the line marketing, and it's kind of a plug and play, which is fantastic, so that all of our clients, everybody on the team is having the same experience. I am doing some things on my own individually, which I'm having good success with. So in addition to everything that we're offering, I'm trying to add extra value. Things like house anniversary cards, I made that up. So every year, 2 years, whatever, send them a card. Staying in contact with your clients and following up and doing pop buys and just making them feel special is what I'm trying to make for all my clients, so that everybody is loving when I stop by. I did ice cream scoops for Valentine's Day pop buys. Call me for the scoop. And they like that kind of stuff, and it's cheap, and you can do it, and you treat your top folks well, and then your referrals will come in and they'll say things like, man, you're really good at this marketing thing, with a $2 ice cream scoop.
That's awesome. So it sounds like you guys are really about staying in front of your clients and creating that connection with your clients. I know when I was out in Maryland, Bob has a softball field, or does he have a softball field?
Yeah, there's a field that he sponsors in the community. He's big into sports with his kids, and we also have trucks. I don't have a lot to say, obviously, or anything to say about the marketing that the team does, but I am certainly proud to be providing it to all my clients in the community.
Yeah, well, you're part of the team, so that's awesome. So it's just an extension down, right? That's super, super important. So is there anything else that we should be talking about when it comes to marketing? Anything else that is important when it comes to making those decisions? Yeah, Lori.
The only thing I would add is that for many of you who are starting out, is to really always be thinking about leading with revenue and doing things in order. Don't go spending tons and tons of money before you're making tons of money. Pick one thing that fits into your budget, master it, mostly stay committed and consistent with it. When that starts to work for you, then move on to the next step. I think sometimes, even this morning I was talking with some agents, very successful, and they start running at the shiny objects, and that is just a distraction. So pick something, stay consistent with it, make sure it is in alignment with your personal team or personal value proposition.
Hold on, let me stop you there. Can you say that again? The last part of that? That was good.
Which part?
Pick something, the whole thing.
Okay, good.
No, just the end.
Yeah, no, in all honesty, it's very, very serious, because as a new agent, it can be very distracting, all these flashy things that you can buy that you think are going to get you to the next sale, and they're not. Pick something that fits within your value proposition. Master it. Become successful at it. See how many legs you can give it. When it becomes profitable, add the next thing. Don't jump ahead. Those are just distractions.
All right, awesome. So something I'm going to share with you guys is the panelists, we got together and we decided to share some of the marketing. You guys want to see some of their marketing?
Yes.
Absolutely. And the cool thing was that was not originally included. So as any other presenters in here? Okay, cool, a couple. So it could definitely create a logistical nightmare trying to do a slideshow with 3 awesome presenters. So anyway, but we went along with it, and I'm telling you, it 10x'd it. So give them a round of applause for that, for starters. So we're going to share some of the slides, and these guys are going to go through them. And the reason I shared that with you, honestly, is they're going to move through some of the slides pretty quickly. That said, at the end, there's going to be a link, and you can download all of the slides from that link. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Excellent. Turn to the person next to you and say, that's cool, and give them a high five.
High five. I'm with you on that.
All right.
Hopefully.
Cool. So we'll have some fun today, right? Why not?
It's going to be on there.
All right, so we're going to start off with Lori. So Lori, you want to tell us about this slide?
Sure. And again, just so you guys know, this is 19 years in the making. I don't know if it's on your right or your left, but those are placards that are on our bus benches. So 19 years ago, I started out with one cute little bus bench. And until I was profitable and had a clue what I was doing with it and learned how to market it, I did not add another. So 19 years later, this is a campaign that we have out on the street. We're very big into reviews. We're the #1 reviewed agent in the state of Florida, and we work really hard. If your standard and your value proposition is a wow experience and your team is focused on 5 stars from everyone in your world, you will become the #1 reviewed agent in your state. So on the left, those are our bus benches, and these are on the street, so they line up going one after the other. Our newest campaign is that we are hiring. And by the way, we are hiring. The other is something we started about 2 years ago, so that would have been 18 years into my career, and that is our billboard. It kind of looks like a Las Vegas billboard, because my lead buyer agent, Saria Finkelstein, decided it had to be glittered. And when people drive by it, it sparkles and it's amazing. And what works about these marketing pieces are the consistency. They are year over year over year. They do not come down, whether things are great or not great. We are known for it. When someone wants to list their home or buy a home or rent a property, they know that we are the go-to because we are there. We're consistent. We're like Walmart, Nordstrom's, Starbucks. We do not take the signs down. So whatever you're doing, if you're sending a postcard, if you're knocking on a door, if you're in a newspaper, whatever it is you do it every day.
I'm curious to see, how long did it take for these to start producing the results?
The bus benches took a solid 24 months before we saw anything.
Wow.
And I never added an additional bus bench until I could track revenue from what was on the street.
But now the consistency, obviously, it pays off.
They are golden.
Awesome.
But they are 20 years, it's a 20-year-old.
All right, love it. We're going to jump to the next slide. This is your digital marketing.
Well, in all honesty, I don't know anything about this. This is my amazing marketing department. So I'm sure for many of you know that if you're not online and you're not digital at this point, well, you're probably going to be left behind, especially if you heard Gary this morning. So again, we're just super consistent, and we don't spend a lot of money on this stuff, just so you know. It's just consistent. It's constant posting things of value and posting in them in the right place. So again, this slide with the digital marketing, again, we're back to consistency. You'll see on there, we do have some celebrity endorsements. I'm endorsed by Barbara Corcoran and a couple other endorsements. But again, that was 18, 19 years in the making. And I hope when you guys leave this room today, you'll know this is something to work towards and only do when it falls into the budget.
Great point, great point. So when did you get started into like the social media and that? Is that more recent, or how long ago did you start on that?
I'm sure we've been doing it for years, but now the focus is really, so David, we will never leave the value proposition of being hand-to-hand combat with the consumer, right? Open house, community events, being out in our neighborhood, showing up at school events, whatever it is it may be. But in the digital world at this point, we are a very big player because we have to be.
And you said someone else is doing it for you. Obviously, you're not out at night posting Facebook ads and stuff, right?
Yeah, if I was doing it, you would have a lot of problems. I am not good at any of this. I can post like something fun on Facebook, and that's probably the limit.
And I'm sure, and you tell me if this is correct, everything you're doing on social media, it's tying into all the fundamentals you talked about, the open houses, the being in touch with your database. This is all working together.
So that's a great point. I want to share something with you guys. Talk about value proposition. So I'm sure most of you are serving your clients at a high level, and you're doing all kinds of things for them in the background that they don't actually see. Or you're running teams and you're serving your agents at a high level, and maybe they don't see what you're doing. It's really useless if you don't talk about it. So if you're spending $100 or $50,000 a month to market your clients' properties and you don't talk about it and tell them about it, what's the point?